Now, Niv, do you want to come on up and come and join me? So Niv got ordained last year. He's curate at Highfield Church, just the other side of the common. It's really kind of you to come and share with us this morning, and send our greetings to Highfield, and thanks to Mike and the team there for letting you come and join us this morning. Let's just get to know you a little bit before you speak to us later. How did you become a Christian?
Great, it's lovely to be here, and thank you so much for welcoming me. I became a Christian in my mid-teens, but I was raised by a really loving Roman Catholic family who knew Jesus. My parents took me to church every week. Unfortunately, at some level, it just didn't take for me, and so as a child, I was really clear that I didn't believe it, wasn't interested in it, didn't really care about it. But somewhere in my mid-teens, doing some English homework, there was a reference to John's Gospel, and John 8:58, in which Jesus says, "Before Abraham was born, I am," which is very bad grammar. And yet, it's clear that Jesus is talking about himself as if he is bigger than language could describe. I found that fascinating. I had to know more, and I had to dig into this person of Jesus, discover that he really lived, and also, as I did, discover that he really makes a difference today. You can really know him today, and I found myself wanting to follow him. Much longer story, trying to cut it short, but that's basically how it happened.
Wonderful. So the moral of that story is always do your English homework.
I studied English at university. Can't recommend it more.
Wonderful. Okay. Now, alongside being curate at Highfield, you have a role with the diocese. You're a vocations advisor, and particularly for people from an ethnic minority background, or at least ethnic minorities in this country. What does that actually mean?
Well, it's one of those privileges of being able to get alongside people who come from different ethnic backgrounds and assure them that they do have a place in God's church. Their calling, and all of us as Christians have a calling from God to follow Jesus, is valuable and precious. And some of them are seeking ordination in the Church of England. Some of them are seeking to lead and bless God's people in all sorts of other ways. Essentially, I get to meet people from time to time. I get to pray for them and support them and answer questions they might have. And if any of you are in that category, I'm so happy to speak to you about what God might be calling you to, what that means for us as a church in the Church of England, that kind of thing.
And even those of us who are white are allowed to come and talk to you.
Absolutely, please do, please do.
Okay, last question for now. I forgot what the question was. There we go. You've lived most of your life in this country, and not all of it. Just tell us a little bit about obviously the theme for this morning is injustice, how to deal with injustice. What's it been like for you as someone who in this country is in an ethnic minority, as a Christian in church, in society at large, and so on?
Thank you. Yeah, I was born in the Middle East, lived there for about 6 years, then lived in Zimbabwe for 2 years, and then came here when I was about 8. But as you can hear from my accent, I did the best job I could to fit in as quickly as I could. And so while I have experienced racism, while I have experienced hurtful words, occasional aggression, threats of violence, actually what I've mostly experienced in churches is a kind of well-intentioned colourblindness. A sense that, yeah, I definitely belong here, but the way I could belong is to be like everyone else, to conform to being white, whatever that looked like. And so actually, for many years, I didn't really think about the fact that I'm Indian ethnically, something that is obvious to look at me. I didn't really think about what that meant, that God had given me that identity, that was where my parents had come from and lived. It was just something I never kind of joined up. And that's a tragedy, because in the gospel, God is calling us to be whole people in Jesus. And our ethnic identity is not something he just puts to one side. It seems to me that so often we choose to be colorblind because we're hoping it will keep us from having a fight. It will keep us from clashing with each other. But the truth is, it's an unacceptable shortcut, because it keeps us from really enjoying what God gives us in our identities and in one another. So yeah, I think that's probably been the thing I've experienced the most, that sense that this identity, and I think the video expressed it really well, just wasn't something people wanted to think about or talk about.
Well, we're really looking forward to hearing more from you later. Thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause as a welcome.